Have you shot your final scenes yet? And are you happy with how things ended?
Yeah.
She didn't say yes. You didn't say yes.
Best season ever.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. We have Elsie. It's her birthday today. Elsie's 3 years old today. Huh. You're 3 years old today. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Well, good evening, Pipe Pals. How y'all doing? Old Holy Smoking Pipe Padre here with a video in the day of May. This is the 17th of May. And I am smoking some Blood Red Moon, Cult Blood Red Moon cherry pipe tobacco. It is a beautiful spring evening. We've got the jasmine behind me blooming. So adding to the beautiful haunting scent of jasmine, we got the beautiful room note, or the patio note, of my Cult Blood Red Moon cherry tobacco. It is that time of year, folks. It's springtime. It's time to celebrate everything cherry. So the first ripe cherries are out. One of my favorite times of the year. And I think I got this Cult Red Blood Moon probably about a year ago. Well, how are y'all doing? I'm also here drinking one of my favorite all-time drinks. I mean, I realized that I haven't had this in many years, but I'm going to drink it now. And it's a cocktail. Relax if you think, oh no, he's drinking again. Well, am I drinking again? Not really. But I am having a mixed drink. I can say that. And what am I drinking? Well, I got some fresh brewed coffee here. And I'm going to add to it some delicious chilled Coke. That's right, coffee and Coke. About 10 years ago, actually probably more than that, Coca-Cola actually came out with a coffee-infused Coke. Coffee-infused Coke. And I tell you what, for me, it was one of the most delicious drinks that I have ever tasted. And plus, did it give me a pick-me-up. Wow. Ooh, and it even brings out the flavor in that cherry tobacco. Man, I'm going to be buzzed this evening. But anyway, cherry, tobacco, and coffee and Coke. Better than rum and Coke, let me tell you. And you don't get arrested for drinking it. And you can drive under the influence of this, and the other, sadly, you can't. Well, I am back here, folks, sitting here on a beautiful spring evening here in my current home in Chico, California. And I have an announcement to make. Old Holy Smoking Pipe Padre is moving again. I'm going to be moving, it looks like, hopefully, I'll be moving up north to the hinterlands, to Lake Tahoe, Tahoe City, to my new parish assignment. And I'm really looking forward to it. So, now tomorrow we have confirmation here at ODS, and Bishop will be here tomorrow. And hopefully I won't be in the doghouse. Hopefully I will. Hopefully things are good. And but anyway, I should be getting my appointment letter sometime next week. But actually, we're making the announcement this weekend that I am moving. That this parish will be getting a new pastor. And so anyway, so this beautiful little respite that I've had for the last almost 5 years, I'm going to be sad to see it go. I've had a very good stay here. I've learned an awful lot, and hopefully I've accomplished some things for this parish. But for the most part, I am looking forward to kind of a new beginning. Last year at this time, if you recall, I had a herniated disc and my back was absolutely killing me. See, is the camera right there? Camera there? No, camera's there. Okay. So, anyway, so I have been boxing up some things and getting ready to go, letting some things go, that is. Probably getting rid of some stuff. But one of the things I discovered in my packing is this. Some Mallory's Red Reparee. Now, the reason why you say, well, so what? Big deal. Well, if I can show you something. Can you see that, Pipe Pals? See this can? I've probably had this tin unopened for about 10 years, maybe even more than 10 years. And and you see the little bulge there. Well, if you know what I'm talking about, and if you've experienced this wonderful phenomenon of fermenting pipe tobacco, you will know that this is like tobacco champagne. Champagne. I'm not opening it now. This is very special tin of fermenting tobacco. I discovered this about 7-8 years ago when I was at Good Shepherd with a can of Mallory's Black Tray. Black Mallory, I should say. And I remember feeling like, oh gosh, and this has been sitting, I've taken this with me, again, unopened for 10 years, maybe 11 years. This is, I think, along the same lines and even more. This might be like 16, 17 years old. Can you imagine? And I remember popping that open. I might have even done it on camera. And it flowed, it flowered, like a champagne uncorking. This fragrant, sweet, delicious, heavenly tobacco just, erupted from the can, like a Jack in the Box. It's like this wonderful, rushing forth of all this tobacco goodness. And I do remember, I didn't bring a tamper with me. Wait a minute, I think this has a tamper, doesn't it? Does this have a tamper? No. Or I thought it did. That's the other one that has a tamper. Okay. Anyway, so I'll gently use my finger. That's the French pronunciation of finger. 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 Okay. For all you Europeans out there. Okay, so, but anyway, I remember opening that and just the tobacco was like incredibly sweet and delicate and flavorful and light and, no bite or anything. So perhaps in one of my future videos from Lake Tahoe, maybe we'll have an evening where we celebrate opening that wonderful tin, kind of like a housewarming gift. Okay? Well, how are y'all doing? I guess the reason why I'm kind of motivated to make this video, even though I'm extremely busy with packing and just doing everything that I normally do, and getting ready to move. I have to say that I have been intrigued with the latest outcry. The latest, I don't know if it's, how do I say this? By the way, this will probably be a spoiler alert for some people. It'll probably be triggering for some people. But enjoy anyway. It's me. So, I am talking about the phenomenon that is Game of Thrones. Yes, that wonderful HBO series set in a fictional medieval type world of King's Landing and Westeros and Davos and all these other mythical places. And Dorne, I guess, is another one. And I can't remember all the cities and towns and villages that they have, featured in the 8-year reign of Game of Thrones. But there are a lot of people that know it better. And again, some of these things, and again, it's wonderful. If you like pretty good drama. Now, again, Game of Thrones was not your typical, fare for family night. It wasn't like Walt Disney or Lassie or something that I grew up with on a Sunday night. Clearly, it was very adult in nature. And so some of the things are very questionable. But the thing was that, for the most part, there was some really good drama. But you had to you always felt like you had to take a bath afterwards because of all the language and some of the naughty scenes that they'd have and the violence. Gotta love violence, Anyway, so, but anyway, so I guess season 8, and I didn't start watching Game of Thrones until about 4 years ago. So when I came into it, maybe 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I remember kind of, saying, well, what's this all about? What's this thing all about? I've heard a lot about it. And anyway, so I remember it was on iTunes. And so I started, downloading the seasons and watching them. And I got hooked, I'll be honest. Almost like getting hooked on Blood Red Moon cherry pipe tobacco. Delicious. So I remember, getting into it, just like everybody else, I guess. And again, some of those stories were very profound. In fact, I think I even made a video about one of them where the heroine, now turning maybe mad woman instead of heroine, but mad woman, Daenerys Targaryen. But there was a scene there where she's being attacked by these insurrectionists, and it looks like they're going to cut her head off. They're going to kill her for real. And they just, even her little small ragtag, bodyguards and all the like, they tried to save her, but it's like, 4 or 5 of them against, hundreds of these mercenaries. These mystical mercenaries, that's what I call them. I guess they were called the Harpies. Anyway, the bottom line was that one of the most powerful moments in TV history that I remember was when it looked just like this gal's, she's gone. They're gonna basically butcher her, cleave her in two, or whatever. And then all of a sudden, this was part of Game of Thrones' mystical charm and appeal, was that these stories would take a fantastic turn, albeit it made sense in the overall scheme and of the stories that were being told. So if you had been following a character development, you would see, oh, this is clearly something that could literally happen in the life of this character. So in other words, they weren't like doing a Deus Machinus X kind of a thing where, they kind of like, quote unquote, change the rules to save the character type of thing. In fact, Game of Thrones was pretty notorious for killing off some of its main characters. I mean, they just kind of like, oops, sorry, we're going to kill this. You think, well, they don't kill the main characters, right? Wrong. That's what was so shocking about how can you do that? How can you kill Ned Stark at the end of the first season? It's like, how did they do that? So, they just had all these fantastic stories. And so people were just amazed that, Game of Thrones they didn't shy away from, sacrificing some of their main characters. It's just incredible. So it looked like this Dany, that's her nickname, I guess, Daenerys. Anyway, so it looked like she was going to be hacked to death by these mercenaries, and there was just no way out until her pet dragon comes soaring down and lands there in the middle of this arena, and she gives it these commands, and it just starts barbecuing all these hundreds and hundreds of mercenaries. And it's like, wow. And then she climbs aboard the dragon, and after the dragon, burns all the fire and everything, flies away to safety. It's like, wow. So anyway, so there's a lot of consternation in the fandom world of Game of Thrones, of GOT. Game of Thrones, GOT. And the fans are up in arms. They are absolutely fit to be tied. There is a petition that is circulating that's gotten over, I guess at this point, over 1 million signatures demanding that HBO reshoot the last season 8. In other words, the fans are saying, we reject this season outright. We don't accept it at all. It kind of reminds me of something happened a couple of years ago. Let's roll that for right now. Let's roll that B-roll right now.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping.
You're awake, by the way. You're not having a terrible, terrible dream. Also, you're not dead and you haven't gone to hell. This is your life now.
This has to be a joke. I do not believe this is happening. I'm literally about to fucking kill myself, and I'm not kidding. You better fix this shit right now. I literally am gonna die. I need an ambulance. I can't believe.
United States, President Obama is the ex-president. And Mr. Trump, for the moment, steps away for the inaugural address.
Yeah, kind of reminded me of when a certain orange man was elected president. I mean, it's almost the same kind of thing. Or it's almost the same kind of thing. Forgive me for dabbling a little bit and dipping my toe into the political pool here. But it's kind of like, the Mueller report. Nobody wants the Mueller report. It's because it didn't come out the way they wanted it to. No collusion, no obstruction, and yet the Democrats are up in arms, and they're revolting, and they're demanding to lock up or throw in jail the attorney general, and it's just another fiasco. It's a lot of whining and crying because somebody didn't get their way. Now, I don't know where this is going. I remember the other TV show that I really enjoyed that actually came to a conclusion was Breaking Bad. And I have to say that, and I don't know if there was any fan revolt over that. I'm sure there was. In this world, there's probably people that are just always up in arms about something. But I don't recall it being quite this vocal. Elsie. It's Elsie's birthday today, by the way. She's 3 years old. And so I've been giving her birthday treats. So she's kind of running around playing right now. And she's probably going to make an appearance here in just a moment. No, Elsie, you can't have that. That's not for kitty cats. Okay. No, I didn't. Let's see if we can get a Elsie picture there. She's eating up some of her little treats there. Elsie, it's your birthday today. Yeah, it's your birthday. Okay. Well, you got a picture of the birthday girl. Okay. So, but I don't remember people being that upset and angry about how Breaking Bad ended. I thought Breaking Bad was a pretty darn good finale. I mean, the way they tied all the character plots together, and it all seemed to work. Let me get a little sip of my coffee and Coke here. Oh, that's good. Okay. So, but again, I don't remember any real outrage, but maybe there was. In this day and age, there probably is. So, anyway, there's I guess the big consternation is that this Dany, she basically barbecues Westeros, I guess it is, or the Red Keep, or whatever it is, and the other evil queen to be, or queen in waiting, Cersei Lannister. And probably most of you people, see, don't do that. That's the other evil queen that Daenerys is kind of waging war against and fighting against. This is good. Haven't had a pipe in a long time. So anyway, so the outrage is that supposedly she does this horrible thing by, again, flying her dragon over the city and basically laying waste to the city and the castle and just basically causing great mayhem. And so the fans are outraged. And they're outraged because they're saying basically, well, this is not in the makeup of the character. It's outside of how this character was written. Well, it turns out, and there's been a lot of people more knowledgeable about Game of Thrones than I'll ever be, who have taken to YouTube, of course, and voiced their opinions and objections and their concerns and their outrage and their ranting and all the bit. But there were a few people who actually, hate to say it, maybe I'll put a link in them, if you're interested, put a link in the bottom. Got to find the videos. I've been watching just a lot of videos. Just kind of mindless, pastime, entertainment. But a few of these people who are quite knowledgeable and who not only know the TV series but know the books that the TV series is based upon, have clearly shown that not only is this something that is completely integral to the Daenerys Targaryen character, it's not something that comes from outside and some kind of a last-minute add-on to justify these actions. It actually makes a very compelling case that this has always been a part of this character that has yet to be revealed, but it's there. It's been lurking in her character, in the shadows of her persona. And, they have quotes of her, and they even show her, and it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, look at this character definitely liked to barbecue people, bad people at the time. And anyway, but so anyway, the bottom line is that there's a lot of upset and outrage in Fandomville, Game of Thrones Fandomville. And again, it seems a little, okay, on one hand, I'm just going to say it and be done with it. It's just a TV show. Yeah, that's it. We're not talking about constitutional crisis here. We're not talking about international crisis. We're not talking about, a stock market crash, or Chernobyl 2 or something like that. It's just an HBO TV show. And these TV shows come and go. We enjoy them for a few seasons, and it ran eight years, or a little over 8 years, I guess. And people, they enjoyed the TV show. I know I did, for the most part. But I'm not feeling somehow cheated. I'm not feeling like, oh my gosh, they've ruined Game of Thrones. A lot of these people are kind of, I don't know. It's like the new Star Wars movies, quote unquote, Star Wars movies. Yeah, I was disappointed in the Last Jedi movie. Does it mean I'm never going to see another Star Wars movie again? I don't know. I think I actually watched the Han Solo movie, and I thought it was pretty good. But it's just a movie at the end of the day. It's really just entertainment. Now, again, some people really, it's just like sports. Some people really get into this stuff, and they can really get emotional about it. They can become very upset. It's like, well, okay, this is maybe their avocation. This is this is the one thing that they feel like they can really put their passion into, and so when they feel let down or cheated or betrayed or something. But anyway, I don't know how you feel about it, and maybe some people will. Oh, good, I am recording here. Some people might want to challenge my take on this whole thing and say, well, you don't really know what you're talking about because you've never read the books or whatever. And again, part of the people will say, well, that the last segments of the actual Red Fire and Ice series, or what the Game of Thrones is, the TV show is based upon, by George R.R. Martin, hasn't been completed yet. He hasn't finished writing the last few installments or books. So people are kind of saying, well, the screenwriters, they basically took it upon themselves to write the final ending of Game of Thrones, and they're upset about that. Again, I just, as much as it's been an interesting ride entertainment-wise, it doesn't have a whole lot of bearing on my life. I would dare say it doesn't have a whole lot of bearing on most people's lives, because it's fantasy. It's not reality. It's just a TV show. Let's say that together. It's just a TV show. Yeah. So anyway, but there just seems to, I am a little bit surprised at the amount of angst and genuine outrage and the vitriol and all these hate videos that are coming up, and denouncing this TV show, denouncing the writers, denouncing, the fans that actually like the show and don't have a problem with it. Oh boy. And I just think, wow, how can we get so excited and upset about something that is fiction? So anyway, now I will say that people don't like cheap gimmicks in a movie or in a book. I remember there was a great deal of outrage at the this goes back to when I was much younger, the Dallas TV show, and people were just so angry about who shot JR, I guess. And I didn't really watch that TV show that much. I don't think I maybe watched 1 or 2 episodes, and I just couldn't get into it. It wasn't something that appealed to me at the time. But I just remember that people were outraged at the fact that, it turned out to be some kind of a dream scenario that happened. And I guess that's how they answered this perplexing question of who shot JR. If I remember correctly, that's how it broke down. And it turned out, oh, this one character just dreamed it all and it never happened or something. I was like, what? And I guess it's called the Deus Ex Maxima syndrome, where, you know, the characters or the story takes a real fantastical twist, turn, something that's just like completely outside the narrative or the outside of a character's arc. You know, that has nothing. It's just like, where did that come from? It's like, changing the rules in Monopoly. You know, so all of a sudden, you know, you start jumping your opponent, and every time you jump a square, you take their hotels and their, you know, it's like, you know, what? That's not part of Monopoly. You know, it might sound like checkers, but that's not a move in Monopoly. So, but I'm just saying that it's kind of like that, where people would take this weird twist or turn and to solve an insurmountable problem. And I think that that's where a lot of the Game of Thrones people are seeing this radical departure, supposedly character departure from this Daenerys, and thinking, well, that's not even in the books or the movie or in the TV shows, and you have to go back. You have to go back years, literally, and you have to kind of go, oh yeah, she did say these things, and she did do these things, and she did act this way, you know, from time to time. It's like, whoa, you know. So it's completely within her character profile. And so I think, you know, before people get angry, then they're angry because, you know, they wanted to see this character as this all good character, you know, benevolent, merciful, kind, you know, just, you know, and it turns out that, in fact, one of the things that J.R. Martin, I guess, is notorious for is that in his world, there are no good people, there are no really evil people. They're just a combination of all sorts of different shades of gray. And so you could have a good person, although they could be flawed in other areas. You could have an evil person who actually can be have some elements of kindness and goodness. Every now and then they show those kinds of things. And he believes that that's more in keeping with what real human nature is about. In other words, there are no real heroes, there are no real villains. We're all kind of a composite of both. And depending on, it's a spectrum, and some people lean further to one or the other. You know, it's not classical, you know, fantasy or sci-fi, I guess, because, you know, most of the time we have heroes like Superman, who's a good guy. Obviously, he's the good guy. He doesn't have any morality flaws. He may have some weaknesses like kryptonite, but that's not a morality. That's not a failing. That's not a moral failing. So anyway, they're not like kitty cats. You know, kitty cats are good. But anyway, so I just was really intrigued lately with this whole Game of Thrones debacle. Sunday, this coming Sunday, it's Friday night, I'm making this video. So Friday night, this coming Sunday will be the actual finale. And they're going to, you know, see how the characters, how they finalize these characters, how they finalize the story. And there'll probably be even more outrage, I'm predicting. But again, like I said, you know, at the end of the night, when the credits roll, guess what? It's just a TV show. It comes to an end, but life goes on, you know, and I just can't see getting that upset about a TV show. But there are people that are obviously very, very disappointed and angry, and, you know, they have a right to be. I mean, it's a free world, you know, you want to, I think it's kind of a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. But again, if that's something that you're into and you want to be upset with the way Game of Thrones is ending, you know, well, that's fine. That's okay. You know, it's no I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, I'll tell you that right now. But I do think it's kind of interesting. It kind of reminds me of something, let's see. Reminds me of that, you know. But that's okay, you know. Life goes on. Well, thanks for watching. Appreciate everything. Some of the comments. Like I said, I've been away for about a month. And but this is my day in May video for you. So thanks for watching. And I guess the next video, well, I don't think the next video will actually be in my new assignment because I have one more month here. And then in July, I'll be making the big final move in July. And I take up residence in my new parish in July. So hopefully you'll stay tuned for the new adventure as it transpires. Okay? All right. So thanks for watching, and Holy Smoking Pipe I can't even say it anymore. Holy Smoking Pipe Padre saying, light up your world, light up your pipe. And enjoy. See ya.
My friend, we have traveled very far. We have no food, no water. Once I see my people fed, I would be honored.
No. We have a serious problem with radical Islam. We have a tremendous problem. And we can't be the stupid country anymore.
Where I come from, guests are treated with respect, not insulted at the gates.
Given the circumstances, my lord, I believe extreme measures are warranted.
The people that are with me 100% are the people.
What?
The Pope. The Pope was in Mexico. Do you know that? Did everyone know, right? He said negative things about me.
Dreadful.
The Pope is being told that Donald Trump is not a nice person. Donald Trump is a very nice person.
If you do not let us in, all of us will die.
I said temporarily. I didn't say permanently. I said temporarily. We have no border. We have no control. People are flooding across. We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
The greatest builder is me, and I would build the greatest wall you have ever seen.
And in that wall, we're going to have a beautiful, big, fat door where people can come into the country, but they have to come in legally. I don't think they like me very much.
Best season ever!